And we are back. Welcome, guys. My name is DK, and in this video, we're going to break down the 6-game NBA DFS slate on Draftkings. I also make content for Prize Picks, Underdog, Parlay Play. We did hit both our YouTube plays once again. Jared Allen over 11.5 rebounds. We pair that with Nick Richards over 19.5 PRA. So I'll have a video up after this. The board, I don't think there's a ton up right now, but I'll get one up after this video. And the sponsor of the video, that would be OddsJam. Guys, if you're not on OddsJam, they have a ton of different tools. Right now, what you're looking at is the Fantasy Optimizer or player prop sites. I mean, right now, it has Prize Picks up. You can go to Underdog, you can go to Parlay Play, all that good stuff. It'll give you a percent chance to hit each prop. They also have Sportsbook screen, arbitrage tools, ton of good stuff. So if you guys do want to give it a try, you can use the code DKDFS for 20% off your first month. If you are serious about sports gambling and about making money, definitely would recommend it. And as always, if you are looking for more content, you can check my Patreon link down below. Do it for DFS and for player pop stuff. All right, so let's recap tonight. Also, dropped an atomic bomb, nuke, whale, play of the day, Wendell Carter Jr., and his over 21.5 PRA was super high in him. You guys, if you read the Twitter thread that I posted last night, you guys knew. Talked about in the video. And yeah, he's my favorite contrarian play of the night at 1% ownership. Yeah, also I laddered his points, took 15.5 plus 220. That hit. So that was nice. That made up for this. Just, I cannot describe the pain that I'm in right now. Okay, a few things, right? I couldn't Zion just play. I had the launch codes. If Zion would have just played, I had Wendell Carter Jr. paired with Jared Allen. I had a nuke here with the Dallas stack. Oh, and then Derrick Jones Jr. Better believe he gets injured. Just like, I almost cashed, literally just out of the money with the I'm telling you, man, and you guys know this, it is such a frustrating game, especially when you make the right plays to it. That's when it gets really upsetting, right? Because it was definitely the correct move in GBPs once we got that Zion news, whatever it took to get Pelicans in your line. And here's the reason. Because they were all going to be way under-owned. If we got the Zion news before lock, CJ and Ingram would have been chalk. Ray Murphy would have been chalk. Herb Jones would have been popular, right? So in situations like that, where we get late news, I am always going to prioritize getting guys like that in. Now, it didn't work out tonight, and I'm really upset about it, but I'm always going to do that. So yeah, if Zion would have just played and Derrick Jones Jr. would have stayed healthy, I would be able to retire. I'd be in Cancun. Oh, also, can we talk about this? You guys happen to see the stat line for Zaire Williams tonight? If not, go ahead and check that out. I don't know if you guys recall, I played him in the Millie Maker a couple days ago. Played him at negative ownership. Yes, this is the edge. I see Zaire Williams. Everyone's flocking to the other Memphis Valley. I'm like, yes, I know the ceiling Zaire Williams has. He's going to win me $1 million, Go ahead, click Zaire Williams. 0 for 8 shooting when I play him with $1 million on the line. Go ahead, check out his stat line tonight. 20-point double-double, 20, 10, and 5, something. I don't know what the exact stat line. It makes you want to pull your hair out. How about Mason Plumlee? You guys remember that? I took a stand at him last slate. Slam Mason Plumlee. 5 fantasy points in 20 minutes. But tonight, better believe he's getting a double-double and absolutely smashing. Feel like I'm going crazy over here. So, yeah. That's a recap there, man. I just, Like I said, if we didn't drop the nuke on Carter Jr. PRA and cash that easily and cash the ladder points and cash the YouTube play, I would be much more tilted right now. I'm still very tilted. But I would be much more tilted. Also, click Jeremy Grant on the SHOWDOWNS slate, and he's done for the night. I'm like, last resort. I'm like, okay, lineup just misses in the main slate. okay, we got the showdown slate. I'm like looking through my lineup, like building it. I'm like, oh, I actually really like this. Put it together, left a decent amount. I think it left like, I don't know, 1,500 on the table. Was looking really good. Jeremy Grant done for the night. Last thing, too. I had a stack. Memphis Magic stack and Prize Picks. Everyone's looking good. Just need Markelle Fultz. Come back and play his normal fourth quarter shift. Jalen Suggs got injured, so if Fultz started, would he not come back in? Who did the Magic close with? Anthony Black. For absolutely no reason. He had like 5 fouls and like 1 rebound. And we're closing with Anthony Black when we're playing from behind. Let me just say this. I haven't shot a basketball in like 2 years. I am a better shooter than Anthony Black. You're closing with Anthony Black when you're playing from behind instead of Markelle Fultz. All right, let's talk about this 6-game slate. Clippers and Celtics. We haven't had like a good tilt in a bit. So I had to let that out. Yeah, Clippers and Celtics. First game here. Zubac once again out. I will say Paul George. I think there's a chance he could sit here in a back-to-back. They said he was on a minutes restriction tonight, so I would not be surprised if he sits. We'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, assuming though everyone plays, then it's the same story, right? Kawhi, Paul George, and Harden, all reasonable plays, but no priorities. Westbrook, he did have a good game tonight. Mentioned that in the Twitter thread too. I thought he could play more against like a small ball team. He's interesting for tournaments. He's a guy that like if he pushes for close to 30 minutes like he did in this game and in this game, we know the ceiling's there in Westbrook. And then the two centers, Plumlee and Tice. I mean, I play him here, plant the flag, 5 fantasy points. Tonight he literally had 12 points, 12 rebounds, like 2 assists and a block. Yay! But yeah, Plumlee. When he starts again, I think it's a solid value. I prefer him to Tice, but Tice, reasonable pivot. They'll play a good chunk in center minutes. I think there's still a chance that they could close small ball. Norman Powell and Terrence Mann, no real strong takes on them. And then if Paul George like sits, then obviously Kawhi and Harden look way better. Westbrook looks way better. Powell and Mann, like this whole team looks way better if they end up resting Paul George. Boston, how about this? Yeah, I had Porzingis over fantasy score the other night. Literally was about to hit early in the third quarter. He's done for the night. Rolls an ankle. Yeah, Porzingis is doubtful, so you should get Al Horford starting. Al Horford, 5.9K, would expect him to play around 30 minutes. I think he's a pretty safe play. As far as the rest of the Celtics go, everyone gets a slight usage bump. Tatum, Brown, White, and Holiday all look a little bit better. I think factoring in salary, I might slightly prefer Tatum to Brown, but it's pretty close. White and Holiday both look reasonable. I think off the bench, you probably see a little more run for like Hauser. I think Cornette will play the backup 5 at 3.9K. He's a okay punt play. Maybe a few extra minutes for a guy like Peyton Pritchard as well. All right, Utah and Charlotte. I mean, there's a few teams that have really been pissing me off, man. Really pissing me off. Utah Jazz. Again, had a 25x opportunity last night. Just needed normal minutes for Colin Sexton. Playing well, and he plays 17 minutes in a competitive game. 17! What are we doing here? This rotation, like, just... I was tilting about this in the Patreon stream. But, like, if I'm a head coach in the NBA, I'm not going to be a loser. I'm going to run a normal rotation. I'm going to play my starters good minutes, and I'm going to run an 8 to 9 man rotation, right? I'm not going to be a loser, a weirdo, and play 11, 12 guys a night. No. Why would I do that? Just run normal rotations. Sick and tired of some of these teams, man. But yeah, Markkanen, 8.3K. I mean, he should, in a competitive game, play low to mid-30s minutes. It's a great spot here, obviously, against the Hornets. You got Sexton, you got Clarkson. Now, how about this, too, right? So I played Clarkson over Sexton 2 games ago. I played him here. 10 fantasy points. And Sexton was relatively popular that day, 40 bomb. Next day, you know what? Sexton's minutes more secure. I play Sexton, 17 minutes. Clarkson, nuke off the bench. And like, you really mean to tell me you think that someone could possibly run worse than me? Oh, after the 5 years of data that I provided you guys every single day, how can anyone think that they run worse? The bigs, so Collins had a massive game last game. Did have Walker Kessler foul trouble. I would say obviously that's a bit of an outlier performance from Collins. I think Kessler still is an interesting play here. Again, he had 5 fouls in 15 minutes. I assume Collins will be pretty popular. I assume Kessler will be low owned. I have no issue playing Kessler over Collins. Fettuccine Alfredo had a really hot start and then I think did absolutely nothing the rest of the game. But in the competitive game, he's been playing mid-20s minutes. I think he's a reasonable value. You got Chris Dunn at 3.9. He should play high teens minutes or so. Does have nice eligibility. Makes him another solid value. Olynyk had a massive game last game in 21 minutes. We know he's not a bad point per minute guy. So he's in play. I don't think I can get... my boy Keontae George, played 31 minutes last game. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know what we're doing here with this rotation. The Jazz. Like, I just don't know... I don't know what to do. Bocce might play a little bit, but I can't stomach that. So, yeah, there's definitely value. Ownership's going to play a big role in what I do here for you, right? Because here's why for tournaments. The rotation, you can't trust it, right? So if like the one or two of these value guys are getting ownership, or, let's say Clarkson's getting way more ownership than Sexton, then like I would prefer Sexton. If, I don't know, Olynyk and George are getting all the ownership, then okay. Then I'll prefer Fettuccine Alfredo and Chris Dunn in tournaments, right? So, like, I have no faith. I have no idea what the Jazz are going to do. So that's why ownership will play a big part in how I make my lineups tomorrow. Charlotte Hornets, so no Hayward, no Mark Williams, no Lowry. You got LaMelo at 9.9K. So what did he finish? I feel like he barely played tonight. I don't know if it was... I think he only had 2 fouls in the first half, though. So that was a little bit weird, but... yeah, assuming LaMelo's good to go, I think he's a good tournament play at 9.9. Bridges and Miller, both solid options. Miller got massive foul trouble. If you played Miller, you did not deserve that type of pain. I like Nick Richards again, 5.3K. He had a good game tonight. Expect him to play high 20s minutes. I think he's a pretty good play. Martin's reasonable value. Washington will play minutes off the bench. I'm not playing anyone else on Charlotte. New Orleans and Milwaukee. Can Zion just play, man? I don't want to deal with this. Like a sharp pivot and get punished again, right? Don't want to deal with this. I would prefer Zion could just play so I could just cross off the Pelicans. Zion misses. We have to look to these guys. Ingram and CJ would be 2 great plays at their respective price points. Trey Murphy. You guys, if anyone played him tonight, you just deserve a lot of money if you play Trey Murphy. And you were punished for absolutely no reason. He was a phenomenal play at his ownership, and he shoots like 2% from the field. This is what I'm talking about with how tilting the game DFS is. But yeah, Murphy should start. He should play 25 to 30 minutes. He'd be a good play. Herb Jones will look a little bit better. I don't know if I feel comfortable with anyone else. Maybe Najee Marshall at 3-3. That probably would play like high teens minutes. Nance, also, I want to say he started the second half again over JV. I prefer him to JV, factoring in salary. But there would be a lot of plays we would have to consider here for the Pelicans if Zion Williamson is out again. Now, for the Bucks, it's a back-to-back, so don't be surprised if you see one of these veterans sit. But if everyone plays, same old, Giannis looks good at 11-2. Dame, more of a contrarian play at 9-3. Middleton, I think, is a pretty good point per hour play. Nothing else really stands out. Pretty simple for Milwaukee. Minnesota and the Spurs. Minnesota also pretty easy to talk about. Fully healthy, great spot. Anthony Edwards, 8.4. Karl-Anthony Towns, 8.1K. 8.1K, both look good. Would expect both these guys in a competitive game to play high 30s minutes. You got Gobert at 7.4, should play mid-30s minutes. Solid option. Conley at 5.3. He'll play around 30 minutes. I think he's pretty safe. Don't really know if I get anyone else. McDaniels, if he stays out of foul trouble, he should play 30-plus minutes. Reasonable value. NAW, slow-mo. Naz Reid, the price has dropped on him. I think he would probably be like the bench guy I would target. 21 and 22 minutes over the last couple games. Kind of outlier bad games the last 3 games for him. But we know Naz Reid is a better point per minute guy than what we've seen in the last 3 games. So price coming down, I think he would be the preferred guy off the bench for me. San Antonio. So Popovich did say that Wembanyama could play back-to-back, so we'll keep a close eye on that. Also, his minutes limit got bumped up to 30, so I like Wembanyama quite a bit if he plays. If he misses, then Zach Collins becomes a great play. He would start and probably play high 20s minutes, and then everyone else will just look way better if Wembanyama sits, like Vassell and Keldon and Sohan and Trey Jones. So, yeah, I would be definitely interested in these Spurs if Wembanyama is out. If Wembanyama plays, it's mainly just Wembanyama, and then his secondary plays. I think if I had to pick another option, the Spurs, assuming Wembanyama plays, would probably be Trey Jones at 5'6". He's been playing like low 30s minutes. All right, Lakers and Warriors. So AD, LeBron, both on the injury report, expecting them to play. They're both fine. I don't think either really stand out. I would say AD. I think I prefer him to LeBron. Got D'Lo at 6.8. I mean, his minutes have been amazing. 38, 40, 34, 35, 36 over the last 5 games. So I think he's probably my favorite Laker right now. Austin Reeves also been playing pretty good minutes. I think he's a solid option. I mean, you do have some cheap options here. Taurean Prince is 3.9K, 30 minutes back-to-back games. He looks decent. Vanderbilt had a good game too. Rui Hachimura had a solid game in 19 minutes. So there are some interesting value plays here too for the Lakers. You know, that group of like Prince and Vanderbilt and Rui. And again, it would be pretty similar to like the Jazz, right? If like one of these Lakers value plays is getting a lot of ownership and the other two are not, I would prefer the lower owned option. So yeah, that group looks pretty similar to me. And talking about Golden State, so you got Steph at 9-1. You know what I'm going to say, right? He's a fine tournament play, reasonable price point, has a high ceiling, totally fine. Klay Thompson at 6-1. It's just a painful roster this year. He has a pretty low floor, but nice eligibility, reasonable price point, sure. Kuminga's been playing really well off the bench. He's been averaging about 30 minutes a game. I think he looks pretty good. You know, he is somewhat foul prone. You always have to consider that, but he's done a good job of avoiding it recently. So, yeah, I think Kuminga at 6K looks like a pretty good play. I expect him to probably be the most popular Warrior. Podziemski's been struggling here at 5.7, but the minutes have still been there for him. You got Draymond Green at 5.5. He played 31 minutes last game, so yeah, I mean, as long as he avoids foul trouble and doesn't get ejected, doesn't choke someone out, man, Draymond's a decent play. I think I'd prefer him to Wiggins, but Wiggins' minutes have also ticked up too. Saric minutes have ticked down. Jackson Davis minutes ticked down. Looney's minutes ticked down. I mean, if you need a complete punt play, let Corey Joseph, but it is so painful. He'll probably play high teens minutes. Disgusting, but at least he's going to be in the rotation. All right, Sacramento, Dallas last game here. So my boy Sabonis, 10.1. Again, he's been playing out of his mind. I think he looks good here. Good play in a competitive game, high 30s minutes, like Sabonis. Here in Fox at 8.8. The price is dropping on him, but still a guy with a pretty high ceiling. Keegan Murray, 6.2. The minutes have been really solid on him. In fact, mid-30s minutes or so. Malik Monk at 6K. Only played 19 minutes last game. I think it was because, Kevin Huerter? No, it was these guys, these like random wings just take turns as having nuke games. Back-to-back nukes for Harrison Barnes for absolutely no reason. You saw him just like a massive game from Kevin. You've seen some massive game. Like, I don't know what is going on here in Sacramento, right? Like, what are we doing here? So, again, with these wings, they kind of ride the hot hand. I assume Herder and Barnes are going to get ownership because of recent performances. I assume Monk will be unowned because of that last game, but Monk could very easily play like 30 minutes and smash. So it's like they do ride the hot hand with those guys. You got Trey Lyles at 3.6. Would expect like 15 or so minutes from him. And then one other thing to mention, Davion Mitchell has been in the rotation. Played 15 and 22 minutes over the last couple games. I mean, he's also awful point per minute. Basically, Spider-Man, Corey Joseph, right? They're the same, like, disgusting, want to throw up in your mouth, but probably will be in the rotation. Finally, Dallas. So, yeah, I mean, there was no way I was fading Luka tonight. Kyrie, keep an eye on it. Derrick Jones Jr. also got injured. So that I don't expect him to play. If Kyrie is out and the same guys are out, plus Derrick Jones Jr. is out again, then yeah, Luka looks amazing. 11-6. I mean, went for 105 fantasy points tonight. Tim Hardaway Jr., this guy can kick rocks, man. I swear every time I click him. Can't hit the broadside of a barn. Oh, man. Mavs put up like 140 points and Tim Hardaway had like 10 points. Yeah, he becomes the number 2 on offense if Luka can't go. Lively is at a reasonable price point. I like his upside in tournaments. Josh Green, I think, is a pretty good play. He should play big minutes. Grant Williams, with Derrick Jones Jr. most likely out, should get more run. I think he looks good. So there's a lot to like here from Dallas, assuming the same guys are out, plus Derrick Jones Jr. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for the video. Again, keep an eye out for Prize Picks 1 after this. Good luck, and we'll see you all in the next one.